did last year, and I called it Spring Fever because it was like really rainy and I was wanting all the pretty colors to come. So I figure that's kind of where we're at now. Everybody's trapped inside. So we'll bring all that in. So yeah, it's a pretty simple painting. I'm going to start off, I don't know if you guys can see this. I don't know if I have to do that or not. But it's a, I guess you can see it from this side too. Up above, a spongy brush. This will do a lot more of the coverage. And then I have a bunch of Q-tips. You can use paint brushes if you want. Something that is about, I don't know, like your pinky pointed would work for a lot of the shapes that we're going to be doing. And colors, you can use whatever colors you want. I'm going to do the same thing that I did in the photo of the picture, or the picture of a painting. And so, yeah, guess we can start, unless anybody has any questions first. No. All right, so what I have, I'm going to paint on a canvas. This is something that my kids painted on, and I gessoed over it. So you can paint on anything, really. If it's porous, sometimes people prime it with gesso. This will just cover it up and allow you to paint over stuff. But we'll go ahead and get started. So you can choose your color that you want for the background. And we're going to go ahead and you can paint the whole background your color. And I'm just going to go ahead and do that. You can see, either look at from here or above, I have a camera shooting down too. And you just need a thin coat. Acrylic paint dries pretty fast, so you can do a thin coat and then one more if you want extra coverage. Then I like to go in one direction because then you get, when the paint dries, it's almost like a wood grain. And it's more uniformed, looks a little nicer. And then I'm going to get the sides of the canvas. I like to hang them bare without any frames. So I like to carry the painting over to the sides. It's just a continuous picture almost. All right, so I'm going to let that dry for a little bit. And I'll be right back in a paper towel. Aha, my cat. Watch out. Oh no. No, it's okay. I got him. Thank you. Okay. I think I got that fixed. I'm so small there. It's froze on you, Meg. At least my screen is.
Is that better? Put it on speaker view for you.
That's of the logo, but I guess that works.
I'm seeing you as the full screen. Does everyone else see Mad Eye there?
Pretty big.
Now I see people.
Okay. Hopefully that works.
It's all good. It's not that big of a deal for me. I just want to make sure everybody can see me. So I'm going to start, while this is drying, I'm going to start prepping. I have a little palette here that I like to put all my stuff on. I can put it under here too. This one's really nice. It's when the paint dries on it, it peels right off. So it's, you don't have to spend a lot of time cleaning it. So that's why I like this palette. But I'm going to start with a lot of the darker tones. And we're going to get some greens and stuff. We're going to first build the background. When you're painting, each layer adds dimension. So the more you add to it, the more depth you're going to get. My cat is climbing up near the computer now. So we'll see how that goes. Oh, thanks. He's gone. Keeping things exciting. Okay, I'm going to add also another layer of my teal. This is pretty tacky now. Acrylic's nice too because you can paint over it. Oil paints, they take a lot longer to dry, and you can do a lot more like mixing. If you let them dry, you can do a lot more like building up like 3D effects into your paintings. Acrylics you can do that with, but they're not, they don't hold as much body. They're more liquidy. As opposed to oils, which can be a lot more thicker. All right, and I've almost got this all done, and then while I'm prepping my paint for the other stuff, we'll let it dry. Keep knocking this all over the place. Sorry, guys. Oh. So, I'm like knocking everything. Sorry, guys. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to get some different colored greens to start building the background. This is going to be, you can kind of see it in the painting. It gets, a lot of it gets covered up, but it's going to give you kind of like a mossy kind of effect behind the flowers, or an ivy, something like that. So as you look out into the distance at things, a lot of the things you see are blurred, and our eyes kind of fill in the rest. So we're going to do a lot of shapes and colors together, and then they're going to look like flowers in the end. So some of the steps we do, like with the little light pink bell flowers, we're going to do those in like 3 different steps. So at first it's not going to look like the painting, but after we add all the layers in, and then so what I'm doing now is just gathering different colors of green. I don't know if you guys can see these colors. This is like a, what is it? A holiday green. This one is an apple tart, so it's brighter. I got a lime green and a light green. So they're all kind of different variations that I'm going to kind of mix together in kind of like a dry brush kind of a fashion. So you can use, for this part, if you have a sponge brush, you can use this, just to clean it out, obviously. Or you can use a brush this one's about a 1/2 inch flat brush. Or you can use some Q-tips. You can even use your fingers. So it's really not too complicated. Is everybody good for me to go to the next step? Yeah, okay. So I'm going to use my little paintbrush, and I'm going to start with the darker green. Yeah. Yeah. You can say hi. You want to say hi really fast? No? Okay, she doesn't want to say hi. Okay, so this one, and I'm just going to go in very kind of light brush strokes, and it's okay if it mixes in with the teal. Ooh. You're going to get lots of color variations, which is really nice. So about the first like inch or so, go horizontally, but then what you're going to start to do is drag it down. You can get more paint if you need, and we're going to start working color down on the canvas or the wood. I like to do it in a V shape. So as you're working down, you can start thicker and then go narrower as you go down. And then I don't ever like to leave things the same length, so I'll make one longer, one skinnier. And I'm going to pick up some of the lighter green tones and mix them in. And a lot of this, you don't have to be really particular about it because a lot of it's going to get covered up. It's going to turn into that dimension that we talked about. And then if you do something you don't like, just cover it up. What's Bob Ross say? Like, make it into a bird. Everything can be fixed. Especially with acrylics, you can just paint over it. So that's always nice. I like to get a lot of the like tie-dye kind of looking things going on. Grab some of this lighter green again. So this will kind of give us a bit of a guide when we're laying in our flowers. And then for each step, you kind of want to let it dry a little bit before we start adding another color, just to give that color some time to set before, because it will start to blend, kind of smear together. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the blue flowers. So if you're looking at it, I don't really know what kind of flowers they are, to tell you the truth, but they are next to the purple flowers, and they are kind of like a bunch of little dots together. So what we're going to do for that one is, if you have the Q-tips, this is where these work really great. You can take a bundle of Q-tips. I have 6 of them right here. You can tape them together if you want, hold them together like this. And I just dip them into the blue, and then you can, I like to dab them on my palette as well, just because Q-tips can take up a lot of paint. So dab it to make sure you're not like drenched in paint, you know? And then we'll take it, and you're going to hold them like this, and you're just going to dab it. Like that. And it gives us like the little tiny flowers that grow in bunches. I don't know what they're called. If anyone knows what they're called, you can tell me.
Wisteria?
What?
Wisteria?
Yeah, they are those. You're right.
Do I get extra credit?
Yes. I'll, you can redeem it when we do practice again. Just kidding. And then these you want to remember to make them different lengths. So if you can see the photo, the part that I'm doing right now is actually covered by the screen, but that's okay. This one goes a little bit longer, but it's your choice. Whichever colors you like the best, you can choose to go longer or wider. You know, flowers do their own thing in nature, so you don't have to worry too much about the way it looks. So that's a way you can do it. If you have like a little paintbrush, you can just take a little bit, a dollop of paint. You can see it. Trying to get it in the top view. And you do the same thing, just little dots. So you can fill them in. If you have different sizes, you can alternate sizes if you want. I don't like to fill it all the way in, because then you can see the dimension comes through with the greens behind it, and you can see the teals. And then as we mix in different colors, you'll see all those kind of mash together. So the next one I'm going to do about right here. I'm going to use a paintbrush for this one, so you guys can kind of see the difference. I think I might keep this one right about that way. So we'll fill it into that there. And I also like to do, sorry, you can hear my son. I like to do things in threes or odd numbers if you want to do more than three. I find they're just more pleasing to the eye when you have things kind of offset. If things are too even, it's not always the prettiest to look at. Alrighty, and then, so the next color I'm going to work the darker colors to the lighter colors as we layer. So I'm going to go with purple next. For the purples, I have a darker purple. It's called violet and purple. And we're going to put these next to each other on your palette because we're going to kind of smear them together, but we're not going to mix them together completely. So let's see if you can see my purples over here next to each other. And then I'm going to do it on the top view. You can use a paintbrush. I'm going to use a Q-tip for this. And you can kind of just swirl them. And I don't know if you can see that or not. But it kind of does like a tie-dye sort of thing, which is fun. And will give you a little tie-dye effect when you put your Q-tip into it. So these flowers are a lot like the blue flowers, except instead of just dabbing, we're going to do kind of a smudgy kind of shape. So it's not just a circle, you're going to just smudge. Almost like a figure 8 kind of smudge. And then when you have the light and the dark purple, will give some dimension there, all in one quick layer, which is nice. And then you want to go a little bit over your blue flowers, like they're kind of hugging each other, they're hanging out. You can also, another technique, if you're not liking the way the purples are looking, like mine are getting really smudged together, I'm going to take a paintbrush and I'm going to start with the darker purple, and you can do a random shape, really, flower-esque shape. And then you can go back in with the lighter purple and add different tones to it that way. So I'm going to show you now, I'm going to add a little bit of the lighter purple in so you can hit it and mix it on the canvas, which gives you a nice little effect too. I like to change the way I'm moving my hand through each flower. Some of the other flowers will be a little bit more, like the shapes will obviously be different, but because the purple and the blue flowers are a lot of the same kind of shape and they hang down in a similar fashion, to offset them, we'll do other shapes and things with the other colors. I'm going to add some of that lighter purple in. And if you think about the light purple is like where the sun would kiss the flower. So it's picking up those like lighter hues. And I can also like to take some of the light purples and kind of dab throughout the blue next to it, because then those kind of give the illusion of being behind it and intertwined, mixed all together. I'm gonna make my really long one. I'm gonna try to do it as similar to the painting as possible instead of doing each one its own thing. I'm gonna bring this purple one. Sometimes I like to prejudge where I'm gonna go so I don't get carried away while I'm painting, because that can happen too. I'm good at that. So I'm gonna have this one go longer than the longest blue one. So I'm gonna put a dot there. So I kind of know where to go. Gives me a guide. Some of my green's not dry yet, but again, it's okay, because it gives that illusion of like the translucency of the flower petals. Some of them the light shines through. I don't know if that's a scientific term or not. Sure, there's some of the science background with now. Giving myself more guides. Then if you want to kind of start over, you can smudge off the paint. Say you want to go with just the light purples on some. Just clean your brush off a little bit. Because the dark tones will always override the light tones. They're just stronger. And then I'm going to add another purple one in the middle. I'm going to sneak it behind this blue one. So if you want to try to sneak one behind, my little trick is you do your normal thing next to it, but once you get near it, you take just a little bit of paint and dab it into the blue in some of your green spaces, those little nooks, and it'll make it look like the purple is behind it, even though we're doing it after. That's Bailey singing. I don't know if you can hear her. Yeah, I want to make that one short, and I got carried away. Oh well, we'll make it just a tad bit longer. And I'm going to hit it with some of the purple just by itself, the light purple. Try to get a little less. If you want, like I want a little lighter purple. So what I'm going to do that, I'm going to grab my white. And you don't need a lot, just a little bit. I'm going to add next to my light purple on my palette. And then I'm going to just kind of start mixing it, pulling the white in. You can see. I don't know if you can or not, but you mix it until you get kind of the tone you want. I don't like to mix it all the way either. Just a preference that I have. Just for kind of the same reason I didn't mix the purples all together. It just kind of gives you a little more textured look. So now I'm just gonna hit this light purple that I mixed with my white in just a few spots. I don't want to overdo it. If you like it, what it is doing, keep going with it. It's your painting. I like to have a little less of those accenty kind of colors. Just a little nuance. Another good trick if you want to kind of change the look of your strokes of your using your brush, you can try holding your brush in different ways. So if you hold it like a pencil, you're going to get, a lot of people do that just because that's what we're comfortable with. You can hold it where you take your hand open like this and you grab it like this. That'll give you a little bit of a different control. Some people do where they'll put it between their pointer and middle finger and grab it like this so they can do more up and down sort of things. It's easier on your wrist. So you can play around with that. It'll give you different angles to work with. Then if you really want to give something a bright highlight, I'll show you using white. You can come on in and just hit it with a little bit of white. It's not my favorite thing really to do. I like to mix more colors in than using just solid whites. But do whatever you like. It's, you know, your art. I'm just here to guide. Okay. So I'm gonna move on to the next flowers if everyone's cool with that. And that's gonna be the hot pink ones. They're kind of shaped like a daisy, I guess. Or no, a dahlia, right? We have dahlias here in Oregon. I think that's right. I don't know. It's the hot pink ones. They're kind of like a star shaped. So I'm gonna get my pink. And that's really kind of bubblegummy pink. If you have only red, you can add white to your red, and that'll make pink. Kick the camera again. Okay. So my pink isn't bright enough, so I'm gonna look. I have a whole box of stuff over here, but I don't see the other pink. Okay, well, I'll make a new pink. So I'm gonna take my bright red and my, oh wait, it's right here. No, I do a bright pink. Oh, I'll show you this trick anyway. Some color mixing. So I'm gonna take some red. This is just regular red, and put it right next to my pink. It's like a bubblegummy pink. I'm gonna pour some of this brighter pink next to it too, so we can see the differences. This here, you see those. So when you take this lighter pink with the red, it'll give you a just a more pigmented pink. So depending on what color you want that to be, if you want it to be a little more of like a orangey sunsetty pink color, you can add some oranges or some yellow tones into this. I'm gonna keep mine this pink color here. In just a second, I'm gonna grab a charger for my phone because it's dying. Hey, Cody. Do we have a schedule for my phone or no? Is it the brown one? Okay, sorry about that, guys. I'm plugging my phone in. It doesn't die on us. Okay, we're back. Let's see, I still see it. Okay, so now we're back to our pink flowers. This one, I like to use a Q-tip for this one because it gives you kind of like the perfect little flower shape. Ooh, some wine. Nice. Yeah. Yeah, it's like bring your own, right? Because you're at home. It's all legal. All right. So
My husband asked me to hand it to him so he could open it.
yeah, nice. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with these. They are. I'm gonna see if I can count it. I think I did them as six petaled flowers. So you're gonna take your Q-tip just with. Let's see, can you see that? Trying to work. I don't know if you guys can see. I don't think you can see the camera above me, but you can see the shot. Anyway, you get a little bit to cover it, and you're going to start from one side. You're going to press down and then lightly come in like that. So it's going to give you like a teardrop shape. I don't know if you can see that very well on there. I'm going to do it on the canvas. It'll probably be easier to see. So you're going to angle the brush. You're going to push down, and then as you come to the center, pull it up lightly. And it's going to give you a little petal shape. And you're going to do 5 or 6 of those together. You can go out from in. They could be big, they could be little ones. You're going to do a few together. I kind of did them just because these are kind of bigger flowers than the other ones. I did a few next to each other. Made that one really big. And then I start to bring it back down. My purple's still wet, so if your purple or whatever color you're working on is wet and they're mixing and you don't want to, just get a little more of the pink and dab it over it, and it should work fine. The more you smudge is when you're going to get those colors to start mixing. If you want them to be like a little bit of different color flowers, you can do some with the lighter pink or the bright pinks next to them. You could do some with a little more red tone. So here I'm mixing a little bit more of the red in. And so I'm just going to kind of offset them as I go through, just making little star patterns. I'm kind of digging the 5. 6 wasn't working for me visually, so just depends on what feels good for you. I feel like I sound like Bob Ross now. If you're like my Q-tip is getting too wide, if you are using Q-tips, it's just because it's getting too saturated, get a new one. You can also use the back of a paintbrush. So you just dip it in. It's not as like forgiving. It doesn't really spread as well, but as you can see, it works. I'm gonna turn my paintbrush back around. And it was scratching and like that. Yeah, exactly. It's like, can't handle it. This one I'm gonna bring slightly longer than the purple, but still shorter than the blue. So we're just making like little stars. You can let your first color dry a little bit, and then, like we did with the purples, go over with varying shades of those pinks and reds. And then I'll give you some more dimension in there. Once we're gonna let these ones dry, once these are done all the way, before we do the yellow center, just because yellow is really hard to get to show up. So you really want it to be, the base to be dry, so you can see that yellow. And you can use the tip of a paintbrush to just dot that yellow in. You can use anything rounded, just like we did with the back of this paintbrush. I think I'm gonna do maybe 1 or 2 more right here. I'm gonna make it kind of small, this last one, just like that. Let's see what time it is. An hour went by fast, guys. Okay, so I will quickly do this other one here, and then I'll show you guys how to do the little bellflowers, in case anybody has to go.
And we've got a little bit of a time buffer before our next session starts. So if you want to run a little bit over and people are able to see, feel free to do that. Yeah.
Perfect. Just give me a heads up.
No problem.
Awesome. Thanks.
Because the next one starts in like how long from now?
It starts at 7 p.m. So
So time zones.
Oh, right. Where are you? Minnesota?
Minnesota. 2 hours behind you.
we got about 2 hours before it starts.
4 is my 6. So yeah.
Okay. It won't go that long. I mean, lots of paintings or painters will tell you that a lot of their work is never finished. A lot of times we'll see more things we could do, stuff that bugs us, we'll go back. So really, you could work on it as long as you need to. Add more things. You don't have to be too worried about your flowers being like that perfect star shape every time, just because in nature, it doesn't work like that. And when you're looking at a 2D picture of flowers, you're going to be seeing, you know, the sides of some and the backs of some. So you can just mix it in. And then in the end, if you don't like what it looks like, you can always paint over it, add to it, change it. I'm just adding some lighter pink into my other flowers that I just did. How's everybody doing? Any questions? Oh, nice. That looks great. Love it.
My pink is kind of like a salmony color, but I kind of like it.
Hey, that's all good. I like the salmony. I like to wear that color, salmon color.
No. I'm trying to get Lydia to show hers, but she's being.
You're being shy. That's okay. We won't make anybody show.
I think mine look like they're sweet and very excited.
Hers looks like fireworks. It's awesome, but she won't show.
Oh. Well, maybe we can. We'll see it sometime.
There it is.
Oh,
There it is.
Oh, beautiful. I love it.
There's a
It's
wind.
just like Claude Monet, you know? So Monet.
There's sapient flowers in here, likely because they're excited. I don't know.
The other flowers that I think it's the last flowers. Oh no, we have the roses and the bell flowers. The bell-shaped flowers are my favorite ones to paint. They're fun. I'm gonna do one more here. And you can kind of smudge in little ones all around if you want it to be a little wider, but you don't want a lot of your, like you don't want it to be one of the prominent flowers up in the front. I'm gonna do one right over my purple. I'm just going in also and layering over some of the pinks too, just to saturate them more. See less of the green through them. Kids watching some weird thing. Sorry if you guys can hear it. Hey, Cassie, can you turn that down? Thanks, sweetie. I think I'm gonna go lower with this one. Kind of kept both my other pink flowers shorter, so just to give it a little bit of a varying heights there.
You get me the controller?
Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and clean my brush to show you guys the bellflowers. So those are ones you can also use with the Q-tip. You can do with a paintbrush as well. And these are like really powdery pink. So you're gonna wanna take your pink and white, if you have it, and add white to your pink to get that real like powdery baby pink. I would say probably like a 2-to-1 ratio of your pink to white. I run my head into the camera. And then just kind of test it after you mix it around if it's the color you want. How I judge it is I want it to be significantly lighter than these pink flowers. So you could just put the, like I dabbed it here next to it. And I think I'm gonna go a little lighter. So I'm gonna add a little bit more white. Let's see if I can bring this over so you can see how I'm mixing them here. So you don't want it the lightest shade of pink you can get, because if you notice those bellflowers, what we're gonna do is they have, it's like an upside down U shape of a really light pink. Then we're gonna take a brighter pink, and under that U shape, we're gonna dab, just a tiny dab of bright pink. Then we're gonna take our pink and add even more white to it, or you can use straight white if you want. And we're going to make the little line across the bottom. So which is going to tie together the U shape of the light pink and that little dab of the pink at the bottom. So it's going to connect the flower together. So the bell shapes out. It's kind of hard to explain, but here we go. I'll show you how to do it. So I'm going to take my like powdery pink, and I'm just going to do upside down U shapes. Can you guys see that? Yeah. So you're going to do, just use, they don't have to be all uniform in size. They could be different. Some of them can be like a more V shape. The ones that you do a little more V rather than U's, will just be taller flower shapes. And the bell shapes kind of grow in a line. So that's why in the painting you'll see that I have them slightly underneath each other or slightly offset going down. I'm gonna make these top ones kind of thick, big ones here. And then get kind of thin them out as I go down. And then if you have them kind of facing or angled rather a certain way, you want to kind of continue that angled down because you're envisioning that it's all growing on the same stem. Hello. They admitted somebody's in here. Howdy. So I think it's my middle strand. It's kind of a thicker one, and the strand that is over to the side is thinner. I'm gonna kind of swap it just because I have more empty space on this side. Hi. Hi.
Piggyback ride. Piggyback ride. Whoa, chill slam.
So these ones are, hello. They kind of are hard to envision at first just because it takes all the way to the third step to really make it look like a pretty little flower. So if they don't look how you think they're supposed to look, just keep going. They'll round out once we add the different pieces to it. Then as you get to the bottom, you can be a little more abstract with the shape and just doing like little dabs kind of instead of the full U shape. Let's see, and I think I'm gonna do I think I'm gonna add my next ones over here, and I'm gonna layer over the pinks and the blues. So if like your blue starts to get lost, you can go back and add more blue, but again, it adds that dimension. So that blue could be, tucked back underneath the flowers. So once you're done, you'll see what I mean. It all kind of lays out nicely together. Oh no, I think my phone died, which was the top view.
I can still see it, I think.
Oh, it turned off. My phone turned off.
Oh.
Oh well, okay. We'll keep going. I'll show you guys from the top. I mean, from the front. Facing me. So, show you guys. I just moved to doing another row of the pink. So just so you can see where I'm at. Okay, and just for the sake of time, before I add the last row of those bellflowers, I'm gonna come over to the first row of bellflowers I did and show you guys how to finish those off. So you're gonna want a bright pink. See if I can do it like this. I'll come really close. Okay, I'm sorry if it's not as like focused as it was, but in the middle of the U, you're going to just dab a dot of the bright pink.
Okay.
And you're going to keep doing that all the way down.
Keep that one.
Okay, my phone's turning back on. So I might be able to log back in so you guys can see the top view. Okay, so once you have all the bright pink dabbed in the centers, let it dry a little bit. And then you're going to put white down next to your really light pink again on your palette. And you're going to just smudge in while you're mixing the pink into the white. So you're getting a small amount of pink into your white. Remember, reds and pinks and things like that have really strong pigment. So you only need a tiny, tiny bit to offset that white color. Then, once you have that whitish, real white, light pink, you're going to, let's see, I'm going to come up closer to you again. So you're going to take it and right over the very bottom of your U shape, you're going to go right over the top of that pink color, the bright pink, and touch the light pink. So you're layering white over the top of that pink you just made, the bright, bright pink.
You don't want pink. You want white.
And then if it's smudging, you just let it dry a little bit longer. Or you can grab a little bit more paint. I kind of like it to smudge a little bit. I don't know if you guys can see that. So you can kind of see the difference of these top ones where I added that white.
I'm impressed.
Okay. So while that's drying, I'm going to do the rose now, a rose. Because we're going over time, I don't want anybody, if you gotta go. I think these are, Meg can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think these are being linked on
Yeah, we're recording all these sessions, so if you have to dip out a little bit early, that's totally fine. We'll be posting these on our YouTube channel a little bit later as well to reference for anyone who would like.
Oh, good.
Perfect. That works perfectly. Thanks, Meg. So right now I'm just getting some red, some orange, and some yellow, all right next to each other on my palette. Kind of, let's see, you can see it right here. You can see it. Ooh, they ran together. That's okay though, because that's what we're gonna do. So I'm gonna take the bottom of my paintbrush and do like a little swirling action again to those three colors. I'm gonna bring a little more red than the orange, just because I want it to be a more red colored rose. But if you look at the rose, it's kind of like tie-dye smudgy looking, and it gives that illusion of the rose petals, one being overlapped, and two, the colors changing as it goes deeper into the flower. So this one, I like to use a Q-tip again. I'm gonna smudge it in. And where I pick to put my rose, so I look at where my flowers are kind of all sitting. And so if you look here, I have like this like green spot here that I'm gonna fill in. So that spot is like screaming to me, put your rose there. And then I'll probably do another one like right here, maybe a small one up here or over to the side. Again, you can see I like things in threes, so I have 3 roses on there, and they're all different sizes too. So I'm gonna start with one right here. So you're gonna smudge your red color, and this one you basically are doing circular motions. So it's like half circle to half circle as you're going around. If that makes sense, in a circle. And as you're getting your red in, pick up some of that like smeared yellowy color and your orange. And that's going to give you a lot of that dimension. It's kind of like cheating almost, like you're doing like 3 layers. It's kind of the effect that oil paintings give you, just without the hassle of oil paint. And if you like oil paints, I mean, I like them too, but acrylic just seems to be a lot easier to work with. And you have to wait hours in between each step for it to dry, or it'll just turn into a muddied mess. So I kind of picked up a little too much of the orange, so I'm gonna grab some of my red and just kind of smudge red in there.
Oh, you're teaching them how to make that?
Yep, I sure am, kiddo. She's not very amused.
Mommy, look what I can do.
Awesome. Want to show everybody?
Yeah.
You should show them. My daughter likes to draw. I don't know if you guys can see it. Go closer to the camera. No, watch out. You're knocking stuff.
Alright.
No, go on the other side of this and stick your hand over there. And they can see it better.
Like this?
Yep, just like that. There you go.
That's awesome.
Thanks. Like a naughty kind of like. Alrighty, so I'm gonna add. My son got jealous, if you can hear him. It's like, she got to have attention. Oh, here, I'll show you guys what I'm doing. I forgot you can't see. So there's my little rose I added. So yeah, you just kind of keep smudging that stuff in a circular motion and work your way out or into the center. If you worked from the outside in, that's cool too. You can also pick up some white and hit certain areas with some white. I always like to go really easy on the white though, just because it can get kind of muddied in there. All right, and so now I'm gonna go back that my blue is dry and add a little bit more of my blue flowers in, but I'm gonna use a darker blue to grab, or not grab, just to make more dimension to them, because they're a little flat. That's my 2-year-old. Welcome, say hi. They're all like, "What are you doing, Mom?" Here, look that way. Say hi. He's like, "Whoa, no." Okay, I set you down. Do you want to paint? I can give you stuff to paint in a little bit. Oh, you might have to take. Okay. So yeah, I'm just gonna keep adding some of this glitter. He's mad at me now. And then I also, just to grab more colors in, if you can see on the original painting, I kind of smudged in like red into the background in certain spots, just to kind of look like there's more colors breaking through. And that you can just kind of fold in. That's what I'm doing. So right here, I'm just kind of sneaking in some red. Just kind of dabbling it in. So it looks like it's just kind of hanging back from like another flower that we can't quite see. And then make it kind of disappear up into the top. So it doesn't go all the way. Oh, yeah, there's a glare, sorry. So I don't bring it all the way up to the top here. So it looks like it's falling down in between. And you can do that with any colors. You can do it with different shapes. If you have a favorite flower you want to add in, that works too. Oh, and then I forgot the little yellow. So to do the inside yellow of the bright pink flowers, you just want to take, you can do with a Q-tip, you can use, again, the back of your paintbrush if you want. And you're just going to dab it directly into the paint. And then you're going to come in and just dot right into the middle of your pink flowers. Can you see that?
We're gonna need to log off, unfortunately.
Oh, no worries. We're pretty much done with showing you how to do the different flowers. But
This is
if you
super
want
fun.
to, you guys can share your pictures just with me if you don't want to do it publicly, like later. I know some people are shy. But thanks for joining me.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming. That's awesome.
Oh, yeah, I love
Yeah, this
it.
was really fun. See you guys later.
Bye.
Thank you.
Dinner, I mean.
Yeah.
Want to say goodbye?
Bye.
Bye. See you later, Rumble. So yeah, you can just go ahead and keep filling in your yellow into all those bright pink flowers. And doing some more of those bell-shaped flowers. And yeah, maybe share your, if you want to share publicly, your photos on the like event leak or something. I don't know if you can do that. But and that way we can see what everyone did. Mine's not totally finished, but I'll show you so far what I have. So it doesn't look exactly the same every time, which is totally cool. But yeah, so just keep working on it and fill in as many flowers as you want. And yeah, I'll probably log off too, because I probably end up sitting here all night painting with you guys. But yeah, thank you so much for joining us. And hopefully maybe we'll do another one, right?
Yeah, for sure. That was awesome. And I think that we can do this on like a recurring basis if you want. But I thought it was a lot of fun.
Awesome. Thanks. Or we could do other projects too. So
I'll just post a picture and I'll tag Rose City on Insta for it. And
That'd be awesome.
awesome. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Sweet,
Awesome.
great.
Thank you.
Have a good night, everyone. Thank you.